Hey everybody, welcome back to Thistle Hill Farmstead. This is our second video in our barn build series, and in this video we're going to be looking at cutting some trees on our property that we're going to have sawmilled into lumber that we're going to use to build our barn. The gentleman that I have doing this sawmilling is from Buckner's Wood Shop, and his name is Forrest Buckner, and he is local to Eatonton, Georgia. He's actually a neighbor of mine, and I would highly recommend him if you need any sawmilling done, to buy lumber. He sells lumber for furniture and a couple other things, but he does a really good job. Highly recommended. So if you're in the Eatonton, Milledgeville, Greenwood area of Georgia, he's your man. Give him a call. So we're going to cut some trees here. He just took down this old rotten tree. We're not going to use it. It's just one that was rotten that we needed to get rid of. But now we're going to start cutting the real trees. I think it's amazing to watch the skill. You know, everybody thinks they can cut a tree down, but when you watch the professionals like Forrest is and see how they look at the angle of the tree and the angle of the cut, and then you see here he's putting some wedges in to fell the tree in the proper direction. It's really an art to it, and these are pretty big trees, so I'm glad I've got him here to do the cutting and not me. You may notice the wire, the roll of wire there. What we had to do is move a fence over, and I thought while we had this fence down and moving it, it was the perfect time to cut these trees. So that's why I asked Forrest to come in and cut these trees for me. There goes the first big one. The one that you saw him cut previously when I was talking was just a dead tree that we wanted to take down so it wouldn't fall later across the fence. But and then he's watching the top of these trees here to make sure nothing comes out of those, any, as you call, widowmakers, branches or limbs or something that's hung up in the top of the tree that may fall down onto you. Here he is taking down another one. I'm trying to adjust the camera here so you can really get an idea of how tall this tree is that he's cutting. And you see him lining up or siding up the cut of the saw so that when the tree falls, it will go right where he wants it in that opening there. Going to put a wedge in here to help it out a bit. I think that's also to keep his saw loose. Looks like he may have the saw hung just a little bit there. Well, maybe not. There we go. I see some sawdust kicking out of there now. Checking his angle again, doing some more cut. There we go. I see the top of the tree starting to move. It's going. There we go. And you can see the camera shake when that thing hits the ground. These trees are very, very heavy. Then we're going to do a little fast forward tree de-limbing and cleaning up. I'm helping out here with my saw, cutting off some of the upper branches and then de-limbing it. And Forrest will use his tractor here to pull that out. Now this is our property, and he's going to pull them from the lower part of our property up toward the house where they're going to be staged for sawmilling. Okay, there goes one. You see me with my little tractor there in the grapple, picking up some of the brush. I'm piling that up so that we'll have a burn pile later, and then we'll be able to burn that. There it goes with that first long one. Now this next tree that he's going to cut, you notice we're connecting a line to it, and there you can see the brush pile that we're making, or that I'm making, to burn later. And you see the line there that he's tied to the tree, and he's pulled some tension on it with his tractor, and then we're going to cut this one. The reason we're doing this is this tree is leaning toward this road or this driveway that you see here in the foreground. And you might also notice the landscaping pin there with the orange ribbon on it. So that is the edge of our property. So we do not want this thing to fall over onto the neighbor's property. So we're going to put some tension on it with that rope, and he's going to cut it and hopefully fall it or fell it right over onto our property. So now you'll see him start to pull some tension on the rope with the tractor. That's the rope there that I have in my hand. Now you see it starting to get tight. He's pulling tension on it with the tractor, and then we'll have some tension on that tree so that when he starts to cut it, it's going to go in the direction we want it to go. I am moving my chainsaw out of the way so that it doesn't get squished as he cuts it. I'm going to try to give you a little close up here so you can kind of see what he's doing. He's putting his saw blade there, looking at the angle of his saw blade and how it's pointing in reference to where he wants the tree to go. I think he's decided he wants a little bit larger wedge cut here, so he's going to open that up a bit. Okay, here he is. Laying that blade down, looking at the direction that he wants, and he's going to come in and do a back cut here. He's going to put a wedge in here to keep that tree from setting down onto his blade. Now I'm going to back out just a little bit, try to give you a perspective on how tall this tree is and where it's going to fall. Just keep watching the top of it here. When it starts to go, you'll see it move at the top first. There it goes. And again, you see the whole camera shake. It's on a tripod and it shakes the ground when these things come down. And here we're doing a little Fast forward of me helping trim the limbs off before we can drag this up. Now I'm going over just to cut up that dead pine that we cut down in the beginning. And here I am just dragging out some of those limbs from the top, piling it up into our burn pile. I tell you, the grapple we have on the little tractor that I have is awesome. I mean, it does a great job for things like this. When we first bought the property, we didn't have the tractor, and we did a lot of cleaning up of brush manually. And I tell you, cutting trees and brush manually and dragging it and piling it up manually is a lot of work. So when we got the tractor, we decided to get the grapple on it to make our work a lot easier, and it has done that. It was well worth the money that we spent for the grapple. There goes another big tree out to the staging area. Here is another kind of close-up of him taking this next one down. The camera's a little bit shaky because of the distance I'm zoomed in, but you can see how tall this thing is. Once again, he is sighting that thing to make sure it goes where he wants to go. Now he's going to do the back cut. Put a couple of wedges in. Let me back you up here again to give you the view of when this thing comes down. And again, if you watch the top here, you'll see that top of the tree start to move. And there it goes as he's driving those wedges in. It's leaning over more and more. It's amazing how these trees stand. You see he's, even after he's done that angle cut, wedge cut in the front, and he's almost cut completely through this tree now, and it's still standing there. So that amazes me that these trees will stand there like this with just a small amount of wood there. Now I think he's got it cut all he wants to cut it, so he's going to pound on these wedges a bit. You see it starting to move forward, and he wants to leave that piece in the middle. I think they're calling that hinge wood, where it'll hinge on that wood in the middle of the tree that he hasn't cut and go on over. So here it goes. Again with a big thud. Here is some closer up action. You can kind of see the size of this tree, and what he's doing now is he's lifted it up with his forks so that he could get the chain under it, and then he's going to come back. I'm helping out here. He's going to come back with his tractor, and then we're going to hook this chain to his tractor, and he'll drag this log out. Oh, this is a little bit dizzying. Sorry about that. Okay, so we got it chained up. We're ready to pull this baby out. Ooh, look at that, standing the tractor up on its back tires. It's a heavy tree. Okay, let's give it another go. Oh man. And he's having to steer this thing. He's unlocked the brakes and he's steering it with the brakes on the back wheel, because the front wheels you can see are pretty much off the ground. They're not doing anything as far as steering. So that just shows you the weight of this tree. Now that's a John Deere 5 series tractor that he's got, and it's got ballast in the back tires, so it's working to pull that tree. Now here I'm coming behind him a little bit. What I've had to do is up toward the fence here is when he turns, the tractor doesn't, the log is so long it doesn't want to turn. So I've been taking my tractor and pushing the back end of the log around. But you can see this thing is just, he's popping a wheelie the whole way. Look at that. Oh yeah. Ride 'em, cowboy. Now what he's trying to do is keep the front end of that log out of the dirt, because as it digs into the ground, obviously it inhibits his ability to pull the log. So he's trying to keep that front end of that log up off the ground. He's smiling as he does it. I think he's having fun doing this. Okay, here I am helping out just a little bit, guiding the back end of this log through the gate so that it doesn't hit the gate at all. And then he's pulling it over to that staging area where they're all staged. Now this is the final tree that we took down, and as you can see, it's back in the midst of a bunch of little sapling trees. So he's cut it in half here, and what he's going to try to do is pull this thing out between those trees. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we're going to give it a try. Oh, and we lost the chain off of that first one, so now he's reconnected it. We're going to try it again. There we go. Now they're swinging around, coming out. All right, so here's what we got out yesterday. So looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 nice trees out yesterday.
and then maybe 10, because that one had a fork. We had to cut it in half. But not super big, but they're long, so I'm sure we'll get some decent lumber. And I'm going to use this, my friend who cut this, Buckner Woodworking, or Wood, I'll have to get his exact name of his company, but he's going to sawmill this for me. He has a sawmill, and he'll saw it up into boards that I can use for our barn that we're getting ready to build. So if you haven't already subscribed, be sure to subscribe, so when we start the barn, you can follow along with building the barn. And we got a couple of additional trees down in our lower part of the property that are bigger than these. They're more like this size here. Now these are not mine, these are somebody else's, but the ones we have down in the lower part are more this size. So we're going to go try to get those out. So yeah, like 10 nice nice trees. I'm not sure if this one is ours. No, that's a hardwood there. So yeah, but these are what we got out. I'm happy with that. We'll get some good lumber out of that.
So remember to hit that like button and to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and ring that bell notification so that anytime we post a new video, you'll get notified. Here's some final clips of Forrest having fun on the tractor. Thanks again for joining us here on Thistle Hill Farmstead.